Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of the year of neighboring. I hope you were able to fill out a neighbor map last week in Sunday school. If not, you'll have a chance to do it this Sunday. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why we are using this map and how we believe it will help lead you into more gospel conversations. Letter A represents the name of who lives at that address. Now, learning names are important. How much more value do you feel when someone calls you by your name instead of just, hey man, or hey sport, or for me, hey tall guy at the grocery store most of the time? But getting to a gospel conversation with your neighbors starts with knowing their names. For Michaela and I, we admittedly have some neighbors that have lived on our street for 3 or 4 months that we don't know their name. Sure, we've waved at each other and maybe said hi and maybe said, how are you doing? But like many of you now, we will have to step into that uncomfortable conversation of asking what their names are. Yeah, it might be awkward, but it's the first step in loving our neighbors well, in knowing their names when we speak to them. Letter B represents a general fact about this person. This letter is here to help you take a next step in your relationship with your neighbor, to have a conversation with them, to learn a little bit about their lives and who they are. Now, letter C is where it really gets good. I believe that when you get to letter C with a person, you will have an opportunity to speak the gospel over their life. Letter C is a conversation where your neighbor shares something deeply personal. Maybe they have an illness, or maybe they just went through a divorce, or maybe they're walking with one of their children through an addiction. When we get to letter C, we are opening ourselves up to hear their hurt and their struggles and have the opportunity to speak the good news of Jesus to that situation. Because the gospel is not only the way that we are saved, but the way that we are sanctified and changed, we have to be prepared to share it in the everyday stuff of life. How is Jesus better than what your neighbor is going through right now? How can you speak the gospel over their life? For the neighbor that is struggling with addiction or with an illness, how is Jesus better than that? With the neighbor who's walking through something with their children, how is Jesus better than that? For your neighbor who just got laid off and has no hope, how is Jesus better than that? These are the opportunities that we have when we get to letter C in our neighbor map, to have the chance to speak the good news of Jesus into our neighbors' lives. So if you're looking at your neighbor map and you see, hey, you've got some letter C's filled out, and you've had the opportunity to step into those gospel conversations with your neighbors, we would love to know and hear about it so that we can encourage one another. Hey, the challenge this week in the year of neighboring is the same that it's going to be all year long. That what is one next step that you can take this week to love your neighbor well? Maybe for you, it's doing the awkward thing like Michaela and I had to do and filling in letter A with someone on your street, to walk across and say, hey, I know we've been neighbors for 6 months, but I've never known your name and would love to get to know you. Or maybe for some of you, it's finally stepping into letter C with your next door neighbor and stepping into a deeper conversation about their life and hearing some of their hurts and struggles and being ready to speak the gospel over that. Whatever it is, we are here to help you on your journey of neighboring.